So one of the things I wanted to talk about was some of the lessons I learned on my journey through medicine. And I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was about essentially work-life balance. So during medical school, I remember sacrificing everything to be successful in my exams. I remember just sitting down there, eating books, studying all day, being in the library, all that kind of stuff. Just eating whatever I could just to help me study and make it through the next day. And I felt that although I put everything into passing my exams, and I was successful doing so, some things were harmed. I mean, I didn't eat well, I gained weight, I isolated myself, put myself through mild depression. And yes, although I was successful, I had to go on later and fix all those things. I ruined my health, so I had to spend the next month or year working off pounds I could have not put on. And so what this taught me at the time was that, you need to have balance. So sometimes you might look at your life as a pie, right? And maybe 1/3 of it is work related, 1/3 of it is going out and having fun, and then 1/3 of it is your health. And what I was doing was making the whole pie studying. And I think what you do in life is I think you have to take those things that are important to you, if there's 3 or 4 things that are important to you, and just divvy up the pie differently. So what I think would have been better is maybe if I spent 80% of the time studying, 10% of the extra time I had into socializing, and 10% on my health. And in life, you just change those ratios depending on what the task is. So that's something I definitely learned. Well, kind of learned, because I almost repeated the same mistake in residency. I found myself, stressing out, trying to keep ahead, trying to learn things on the fly, and then, you start sacrificing your health. You start sacrificing going out just to complete a task. I kind of saved myself in that I didn't put all my eggs in one basket and made sure I made time for the gym. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons I learned in medicine, and it's just work-life balance. And so, now that I'm attending and now I'm working in private practice, I make sure I make time every morning to go to the gym. I make time to socialize. I don't think that people realize how important that kind of stuff is until you kind of ignore it. So that's essentially one of the big life lessons I learned. If there's a minor lesson I learned in medicine, essentially I learned it from multiple attendings, is just to always treat patients like it was your mom, like it was your sister. And that's also guided my way. Like sometimes you're in a rush and you want to leave early and you kind of want to hurry up and go through this patient's file. But literally I think, I'm like, if this was your mom, would you want somebody doing that to you? And so that's a principle I live by. And really, even though you're rushing, it's really going to actually cost you 3 extra minutes, 4 extra minutes. And there's nothing so detrimental that you can't spend 4 extra minutes with the patient. The patient feels better, you feel better, and you just feel that you've done something beneficial for them. So I try to never rush with patients. The last thing I'd say on this topic is, another way I don't rush with patients is I come in an hour early, read try to half the patients I have during the day. I always try to stay 4 patients ahead, so I'm always reading up on the next 4 patients I have, so that I always can spend quality time where I know what I'm talking about. I'm not wasting time with the patient. I think everyone's time is precious. My time's precious, and the patient's time is precious. So I would say those are the top two lessons I learned, and I just wanted to share them. And I think this is a segment I'll have going on where I just talk about personal things or little life lessons. Okay, take care.